contributions, all the posts, some incredible work there. And I thought, in the words of the great Holly Johnson from Frankie Goes to Hollywood, we've got these two tribes. It's when two tribes go to woo. Oh, wow. There you go.
The last announcement I want to make is that the plenary sessions will be held in this room, that there are two separate rooms on the two sides of the second floor. That is where the paper and panel sessions will be, and in your poster, it will, in your program, it says which one is which. And we will move up there after the plenary session. The poster session will be up there. The posters should be up the whole time, so you're welcome to go and talk. And then tonight, before the poster session, we'll have a very short introduction just to go over a little bit more about some of the processes and some of what's in the posters. With that, one of the great privileges of being the program chair is helping to choose who will be the speakers. And for those of you who've never done this, sometimes there's great conflict among the program committee over who should keynote a conference. I'm happy to say that at this conference, the person who should give the technical talk to set the stage for the conference, there was no question at all. It was very clear that Nigel Shadbolt of Southampton would be the person who could really give the significant introduction to what web science really is starting to be, how it's conceived, what its goals are. Nigel is a professor of artificial intelligence and the deputy head of school of electronics and computer science at Southampton University in the UK. I have a list of things that I'm going to just pick a few from. He's the founding director of the Web Science Research Initiative and will be one of the founding trustees of the Web Science Trust. He was the editor-in-chief of IEEE Intelligent Systems for a number of years, and the only mistake he made during that time was the choice of his successor. He has been the president of the British Computer Society, continues to be an advisor to that society. Years ago, I was at a talk and someone was introduced, and he was a fellow of numerous different things, and he came off and I said, "That's so impressive." He said, "You just have to live long enough." But Nigel is not nearly as old as he was. I've got fellow of the British Computer Society, the ECCAI, which is the European AI Society, and he's also a fellow of the Royal Academy of Engineering. As well as doing all that and all of the academic work he's been doing, he's also the CTO of Garlic, which is one of the premier Web 3.0 companies located in the UK. So really, I'm going to stop there because I could talk all day and take all his time away. So let me just simply at that point introduce Nigel Shadbolt and mention to you that in your conference bag are a couple of articles about web science, and you'll find Nigel's name on both of them. So, Nigel.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Jim. That was a generous introduction, and I should say that Jim's effort in all of this should not be underestimated. Hendler has put in a huge amount of work to bring this conference together, and my thanks to him. So what I wanted to talk about today, I'm going to talk about this for about half an hour, is the emergence of web science, what we've observed, why we think it's interesting. And let me just start. I just love this bit. This kind of a lovely thought and a glass of water for the speaker. So here we are. We're in Athens. What a place to start a discipline. The birthplace of modern philosophy, without question. Architectural and historical landmarks and monuments. Going back to early history, prehistory. And now, of course, we have this extraordinary building we're in here, a tribute to the contribution of Greece to the world and the Hellenic civilization in general. And this is absolutely a thrill. When Wendy and I came and talked to the foundation here, we realized the potential that was on offer to do something really special. And I'm sure over the next couple of days we're going to see that realized. So my thanks to them. And my thanks to everybody who's had a hand in bringing this new discipline to people's attention. So, once upon a time, I think it's interesting, when people say, well, why do you call it web science? That you don't create or invent a discipline. Why web science? And we kind of agonized over what we would call this area of endeavor or study. And in fact, at one stage, I remember a conversation, and Tim Berners-Lee was rather taken with the idea that philosophical engineering was what we were about. And actually, there's something really very important about that observation, because once upon a time, of course, organized, structured thought was all about philosophy. It's how people started to intellectualize the world around them. And this extraordinary trio of, there is something very striking about this trio. They all have beards, quite weird beards, but, and we don't know authentically exactly what they look like, but between Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, close contemporaries, in fact, one the mentor of the other, and Plato taught Aristotle. Aristotle worked at the academy here. They achieved extraordinary things. And in fact, my first contact with this was as an undergraduate major in philosophy and psychology. I had to read the Theaetetus, which is essentially a treatise on knowledge. How do we know and what can we know? Defining the whole area of epistemology. Now, in a sense, for many, many years, this area of inquiry remained in pure philosophy. I think one of the interesting things about the birth of the web, in the same way that the natural philosophy, biology, the first organized empirical inquiry into the world, much of this was founded by Aristotle, led to chemistry and physics. We're starting to see something quite interesting, I think, in modern disciplines, where what was formerly really rather pure philosophical speculation on the nature and form of knowledge is being operationalized. We're looking at something quite extraordinary with the web. So it really is all philosophy, and I'll come back to this point. Okay, so what about web science? We began this journey because we felt there was simply a need to understand this transformational object. We have this phrase in English, the elephant in the room, and there is the elephant in the room. But the thing about the elephant in the room is that typically it's something that is so obvious you don't notice it's there. And this was our feeling about the web. And we felt that we needed to really understand this at a systems level. We need it so we can understand it for now, anticipate future developments, and also understand the opportunities and threats that this increasing integration of the web in our lives offers us. Now, new fields have been constituted in the past. It's not as if we're completely barking mad to sort of think about trying to organize thinking around a new set of issues and disciplines. Cognitive science was mentioned by Tim yesterday. Computer science, this is how computer science started. It was an intersection of interests between electrical engineers, mathematicians, logicians. Systems biology has done it more recently. Genomics, a whole range of life sciences which have defined themselves in terms of other disciplines. And in fact, Wendy describes this variously as jumping off the cliff. When we tried to do this, call this thing into being, in a sense, back in November 2006, a press conference there's Rod Brooks of MIT CSAIL, and the 4 founding directors. It was well received. It was received, in a sense, almost as a recognition, yes, this was needed. From Eric Schmidt of Google to